Now, we're going to kind of work together. I'm going to give us some of the concepts that we've learned, and then Michelle's going to try to talk about some of the things that she's implementing with her university team. I will also tell you how I implement it I coach a U13 girls team in Ontario. So I can show you how it's done with seniors at the world level, right down to U13s. So it does work and does apply. The first lesson is something I've learned a long time ago, and I call it the Goldilocks effect. And that is balance in life and balance in everything you do. Too much, too little, what's the right amount? And everything that we show you as coaches, we can sometimes do too much of it, too little of it. The art of coaching is deciding the right amount for your team and your stage of development. And I can't always tell you that answer. And that comes from that experience of being willing to experiment and to figure out which one it is you want, how much of that. The best lesson I learned this summer was when you take a taxi ride in Istanbul, you need balance. My first ride took 5.5 hours to go 40 kilometers. I don't know if you've ever been in a taxi for 5.5 hours. It is not a pleasant experience. I figured it out that we actually travel at less than 10 kilometers an hour. I could almost, in my old age, I could almost walk and run faster. My taxi ride back averaged 140 kilometers an hour. I wanted the Goldilocks effect in my taxi ride in Istanbul. And we're talking 140 kilometers and you're that close to the vehicles in front. So balance is important. They didn't seem to understand that when I talked to them, but it's very important. The first lesson we learned from the World Championships is the importance of planning. There's nothing we do with our senior women's program, our development team program, our cadets and our juniors that does not involve a lot of planning. We never just show up at the gym. We are now under the control of Own the Podium. And Own the Podium makes us a multi-million-dollar business. You don't get millions of dollars from the federal government without a plan. There's a lot of people when it first happened didn't like that because it held people accountable. And it was mostly coaches. We sometimes like just to go to the gym and do our stuff. But now that's not acceptable. We actually have to have a plan, and it has to be a scientifically research-based plan. It's not just because it's Mike's opinion. And I think that applies to even when I go with my little 12-year-olds, I have to have a plan when I walk into practice. I can't just show up and do my shtick. And I could get away with a pretty good practice, just not playing, but that's not fair to those girls. They deserve a plan.
Yeah, I would say for our junior bison program, the biggest transition that we've made is we sit down with all of our coaches so everyone is involved in the same plan. So when you get into the gym, everyone's on the same page. It makes a big difference. It gives you confidence as a coach, but it also gives your players kind of that continuity that there's a plan for practice at the beginning of your season all the way to the end. And don't be afraid to be detailed with it, especially if there's areas that you're not comfortable with, for example, breaking down man-to-man or zone defenses. Be detailed with that plan, with terminology, so that everyone can be on the same page, and it makes a huge difference in the long run.
The second thing is we run now, I call it an integrated and harmonized approach to the game. And integrated means there's 4 pillars that we look at. There's the physical, the mental, the social emotional, and the basketball. No one is more important than the other. And they have to be integrated and then harmonized. And here's the definition I use with our coaches when I was trying to sell this to them. If this was a group, and I gave everybody a song sheet with a very popular song, and we all sang the same song, we were integrated. But that does not mean we're going to sing in harmony. Okay? So I would say right now, our women's program is pretty integrated. We're still working on the harmony part. That takes a little more working together, a little more planning, a little more debriefing. But you have to do the same thing within your program. You have to think, how am I going to integrate? And we watch Brian, he was starting to add in some mental component to his practice. Do you add mental? Do you add social emotional? Do you add your physical training? When he was getting them to run up and down the floor, he's working on the physical training part. What we found is we don't have time in our programs to do physical training for fitness, cardiovascular, and anaerobic outside of the basketball practice. Our athletes have too much things that they need to do. So we have to design our practices that they're getting their physical training, their fitness within the practice. Not, okay, now we have to go for an extra run after practice. A professional athlete doesn't have time for that. The strength training is a little different. We have to do that. But if we want to integrate all those things, we have to design our practices better to make sure all those things are involved in it. Even with my little girls, and I'll show stuff later on throughout the weekend, is how I integrate those kind of things. The physical, the social emotional, and the mental, and the basketball all at the same time. Because you don't have time to separate them. And it's not separate in the game. So.
Yeah, I think this one, you just really have to understand the age of the group and the maturity of the group you're coaching. So in terms of the LTAD and incorporating dynamic warm-up, you may have to have a really long warm-up that incorporates some of the strength and fitness training, and you may need to give 15 to 20 minutes for a debrief so that you can really grasp whether or not they're transferring the knowledge that you're giving them. Taking time before and after practice, checking in with them as people is also a really big one. Taking time when they're coming into the gym, what kind of state are they coming into? If they're kind of already checked out because they've had either a tough day at home or at school, then you may have to adjust your practice plan based on that. So really understanding the group that you have is pretty important. And my experience with girls, I don't know if it's the same with guys, but I would guess it probably is. Yeah.
Okay, the next big one we've learned is monitoring. We track everything. So we pick what we call our KPIs, which is a business term, but our key performance indicators in our practice, and we measure them, and we give immediate feedback on how we're doing. Give you an example. The most important stat to me in basketball is the quality of the shots you take. Brian already gave us an excellent thing in ROM, R-O-M. I'm going to use that one because it fits perfectly for what we do. We track shot quality. At the World Championships, I sat basically at the end line of every single game and tracked shot quality of every shot we took. We took one bad shot the whole World Championship. And that was a shot that was out of range, not open, and off balance. If you take a shot that doesn't fit ROM, that's a 1 for us. That's considered a 1. It's a bad shot. A 2 is a contested shot. So you'd be on balance, you'd be in range, but you were contested. No team in the world shoots good contested shots. No player in the world shoots a higher percentage contested than uncontested. There's different relevance of contested. A Kevin Durant, if I have a hand up and your hand's only there, that's not contested. That's an open shot for him. For most of our players, that's still contested. So it's relative to the player. But it's a myth that a lot of people think, well, he's a good contested shooter. He can make shots. Percentages don't prove that. A 3 for us is an open shot. That's a ROM. So I'll use Brian's term of ROM. So an open, uncontested shot is a 3, and a 4 is a shot at the rim. And we actually give values to the shots because we want most of our shots at the rim. Why? Highest percentage. Second is, it creates more chances for offensive rebounds. Third, it has a chance to create more fouls. And fourth, it has a chance to give us more rebounds. So rebounds, fouls, less turnovers when we score at the rim. So we want most of our scores coming at the rim. So we put a higher value on that shot. So we track that in practice. That was one of my jobs. I'd sit there at the table and I'd just track every shot. As soon as the practice is over, the coaches, again, here is our shot quality for the day. And the players want to know, and they would argue with me, Mike, I did not take a bad shot today. That was not a bad shot. I said, well, my opinion it was. But I love that discussion. I love that discussion because it's training the players to understand what's a good shot, what's a bad shot. One of the most important stats in the game. Okay, so that's just one example of the things we track. I do the same thing with my little girls team. We track shot quality. And I'll just ask them, good shot, bad shot.
Yeah, I'd say if you have a team, you don't have 4 or 5 assistant coaches to help you out. If you've established it as kind of a quantitative thing before practice, even the young ones, if you say, is that a 1 or a 2, is that a good or a bad shot, and you've defined it with them, it makes it really, it takes away the emotion, and it kind of puts a really quick learning experience to a shot. So for our grade 5-6 team this year, what we did is we had 3 numbers, and they just said, is that a good shot for me, good shot for the team, and then a good shot for the situation. And we would just talk about that. It kind of adds that decision-making experience to shot selection. And then the last thing in terms of tracking, again, if you have a detailed plan, really tracking the hours that you spend on certain skills or drills. So if you have a ton of 5-on-0 or 2-on-0, and then you go to games and you don't understand why you can't make decisions 2-on-1 and fast break, and you go back to your hours and say, well, I spent 5 hours 2-on-0 and maybe 5 minutes 2-on-2, then right there you're not incorporating kind of game hours in your practices. So it puts a number to it, kind of takes away emotion as coaches when you're debriefing yourself either success or not success after a game or a season.
And we built a spreadsheet with our program, the women's side, where basically we put in what type of drill we did. So was it a warm-up? Was it a skill? Was it a concept? Was it offense, defense, or was it a scrimmage? How long was it? And if anybody's heard me speak before, we talk, was it a phase A, B, C, or D type drill? Phase A means it's on air. 1-on-0, 2-on-0, 3-on-0. Was it a phase B where we added a guide? We just saw a demonstration of a guide. That was a very physical guide, but that was a guided defender to help with decisions. Guides can also help improve the form of what the athlete's doing because they have to get better form because of the guide. A phase C drill is where we now compete, 1-on-1, 2-on-2, 3-on-3. You could see that most of Brian's drills were phase C drills. They were competing, and phase D is scrimmages. We are trying to eliminate that's not the right word, reduce the number of phase A drills for teaching. They're good for form and they're good for speed, but you learn no decision making from a phase A drill. There's no decision being taught in a phase A drill. So if you're dominating with phase A drills and then you're saying my players can't make decisions, we don't understand, well, go back and look at your practice. You're probably doing too many phase A drills. So we track what type of drills our coaches are doing. And it really, really helps them understand how to build a better practice. We've also added in heart rate monitors, so we now track intensity. So we now know, not only is it a phase A drill, we know how intense that drill is to help us build our physical training. Okay, that's something I could talk to some people off track because that's getting to another level. But we really track everything. The final piece in the tracking is the debriefing. You heard Brian ask a lot of questions. That's exactly how we want our coaches to coach. You did not hear him saying a lot when the athletes were playing because that's a distraction. We do not want to be distractions to our players. Let their mind be on the things they should be concentrating on, not you all the time. This is not about us. This is about them. So let them play, then stop them, ask some meaningful questions. The other thing is we use a lot of what I now call I debriefs and not we debriefs. This was probably one of the most important moments for our senior women this summer. And it happened at the World Championships. Right? We have a very young and old team. And what happens is people can hide behind the we. We need to play better defense. We're not working hard enough in practice. We need to shoot better shots. That's the player saying that. But that's a dangerous comment because there's no ownership to that comment. It wasn't until the player starts saying, I need to shoot better shots. Me. I will shoot better shots today in the game. Instead of hiding behind the we. I hate the term there's no I in team. I think that's one of the worst statements in basketball. I hate the one, if you don't think about the team, don't come through this door. Listen, it's about me. I have to take care of me and the I. I have to be responsible for me. I can hide behind the team. It's called social loafing if you want to research it. It's a dangerous, dangerous thing. And what happens in social loafing is, and we saw it, if I ask for a volunteer over there, what's going to happen? If there's one kid over there and I say, I'm looking for a volunteer, he knows he has to do it because he's the only guy. If there's two people, they'll look at each other, well, one of us has got to go. When there's 14, 15, it takes forever because they all don't think that they're important in the group. That's called social loafing. It's just a normal human reaction. So we have to make careful that we don't have that. So we really pay attention to these I debriefs. The second thing in that is we use a lot of what I call ABCs. And if you're a teacher, it's one of the best things I ever learned in teaching. So whenever I ask a question, I will cold call students, players, ABC that. A means, do you agree with the answer the child just gave? B, do you want to build on it? Enhance it? Or C, do you want to challenge that? And I know we're starting to have a good team when players will start to challenge what other teammates have said. And I don't accept fluff. Don't let them give you fluff. And my little 12-year-olds, they love this part of the practice. They love when I get to ABCs. And they're still like, as you get older, they just don't want to answer questions, as we train that out of students. But we really, really use a lot of ABCs. And it's really fun for me to watch our coaches who've been coaching CIS for a long time, start to use an ABC in a debrief. Michele, any comments on that?
No, I would just say, if you're going to change any of your coaching practices, it's been probably the most rewarding change that I've made is giving time to the end of practice, and you give the athletes a voice. Most of the time, they're bang on in terms of how they thought practice went, how certain drills went, what they learned well, what they didn't. It gives them an opportunity to kind of just speak about a practice in general and games. We use it with our university team in film. And one thing I'll tell you is embrace the silence. So you ask a question, embrace it, let them think. It kind of gives them practice of thinking on the spot, but also being critical because they have to speak in front of their peers. And it's just an all-around rewarding experience for your coaches and your athletes.
And I'll try to model this as we throughout the weekend here so you get to see it. Okay? And I'll challenge you a little bit on it too, because I may ask you some questions and ABC it. Okay? Because I think it's important that you do that. Reflective thinking is the most important way to learn, I think. And we constantly do it. Okay, the next one is everything that we do is scientifically based. And I think I said that. It's not based on some opinion. So if a coach comes in with an idea, one of the first things I'm going to say, well, where are we getting this from? Did we research this? We now have the ability with a software called Sport Code to basically look at everything in the game. So all I asked from Michele, she was our development team coach, is Michele, I need your combined database. Michele, when am I going to get that combined database? And what it does, it takes every single game that our development team did at the Jones Cup, which they were gold medalists at, which was awesome. That's our 2020 Olympic team. And it puts everything into one database that I can now cross-reference. So I could take and say, I want to see every 2-foot finish on the left-hand side off a drift screen, and I can call up every single clip of that happened. I can just query in and get that information. So I'll give you a quick example. We had too high of a turnover rate with that team that Michele was working with. I called up every single turnover. I think there were 96 turnovers that they had. I looked at every single turnover, and I could figure out exactly what the cause was. And it was exactly what Brian had said. On our penetration, our players were going to 1 foot, and then jumping to 2, and they were getting too close to the defense, and now they're right on top on the turnover. So we researched it. We didn't just say, well, we got to stop turning the ball over. We could now go in and look at exactly what's causing the turnover, and now immediately put that into our training. So everything is scientifically based. My whole next session this afternoon is going to be on a lot of this stuff, and on how motor learning and how we learn, we don't always do in practice. We got to change that. Michele, any thoughts on the science?
No, that's good.
Okay, so we're going to get the guys moving here a little bit. Because one of the big areas I think that we've done a good job of the science and the research and the integration is in our warm-up. we found when we put heart rates on our players, they were saving themselves. They thought, well, warm up, I got to save myself for the game. No, you need to get to a certain rate. You need to be a certain intensity with your heart to be ready to play. The second thing is in warm up, basketball drives me crazy as a sport because we don't do things that we actually use in the game in warm up. What does most warm ups dominate with? Come on, what do you mostly do in basketball warm up? Layups from half and stationary shooting with no defense. Am I right? Come on, be honest. How many people play intense defense in warm-up? How many people do boxing out in warm-up? How many do pass, cut, fill in warm-up? You don't do it. If you go watch the best in the world at soccer, you go watch the best in the world in rugby, you go watch the best in the world in a lot of other sports, they're doing every skill that they use in the game is being done in the warm-up, and it usually finishes at the speed that they're actually going to play. Basketball still has this idea, we use warm-up just to kind of, we're saving ourselves. Not the top teams don't. Okay? You don't see, when you go to an NBA game, you don't see what's happening in the training court before they go on the court. Okay? So we really have to change our culture of warm-up if you want to compete at the highest level. Okay? And with my little girls, I actually go out on the floor. It's a practice for me. Wow, we got 10 minutes to practice. Let's go, come on. Halftime is a practice. I'm not talking to them. Come on, it's a practice. Because you think of it, if we go away in a tournament, we play 4 games, that's a 40-minute practice that I get in 4 games. Man, I'm only getting like 1.5 practice, 2 practices a week. There's another 40 minutes. So turn it into a practice. Don't let them just go and take bad layups that they never really use in the game. Okay, too much talking.
Just with the heart rate monitors, if you don't have access to them, kind of an exercise that you can do is kind of just give your athletes an awareness of symptoms of what their body feels like when their heart rate's increasing. So we did it one time after a game. They took their heart rates right away, and then we compared it into a practice. Okay, if we're not scrimmaging at kind of the same intensity, then you're really not mimicking a game. But that's just something that you can do if you don't have access to a heart rate monitor system. Okay, guys, can we get everyone on the sideline? I'm just going to go through a dynamic warm-up here. So the biggest change for this one is getting coaches or yourself and your assistants to really error detection. Just because we tend to kind of dynamic warm-ups like, okay, let's check out, let's just kind of warm up and that's it. But for some of your athletes, this may be the only opportunity that they get at functional movement. Say they don't have gym for a week or something like that. They're going to need some reps at landing properly, raising their heart rate, okay, and just practicing safe body movement. Okay. So we'll jog to the other side. Let's shake out our limbs a bit. Let's get loose, get the blood flowing a bit. And jog back.
One of the things I'm always watching is running form. Who uses their arms, who runs on their toes.
Okay, so let's go 3 high knees. 1, 2, 3 to a knee hug. Okay, let's make sure we have a strong base support on our foot and we nice tall through our posture. Okay, so be nice and balanced. So 3 high knees to a knee hug and then switch legs. Go ahead.
What you want to watch out for
balance.
is they bring their chest to their knee.
Okay, really find the outside of your foot. Be nice and balanced on your base foot.
Watch their balance. It'll be a challenge for a lot of them, it's their balance.
Use both hands.
And they will fool us with balance by keep moving. They make it look like they're unbalanced.
Okay, 3 butt kicks. Okay, again, find your balance, big step back, arms in the air. Okay, and you're going to lean back. You should feel it through your hip. Okay, go ahead. Find your balance before you step back.
Hold it first. Don't be in a rush, guys. We're not in a rush. Now watch when they come out of the lunge. Can they come out in one step, or are they, right? Do they take those little cheats, or do they do this? Or can they come out of a lunge?
Good.
In nice
Keep
form.
your toes pointing forward. Good.
When you're doing all these big stretches, what I like to try to tell the players is pretend your body's covered with saran wrap. That's the fascia that covers your body. We're not really stretching the muscles. We're trying to break up the fascia so that all your muscles can actually move properly. And so you need those. If you stretch out saran wrap, you don't just pull it in one direction. You got to kind of pull it in all these directions. So you need those long stretches. Michelle, you just keep them going. I'll talk to you.
Let's go 3 broad jumps. Okay. Again, find your balance. Okay, my fingers are going to go under my toes. I look up. Okay, and then I stretch the air. Okay, for a lot of you guys, this is going to be a flexibility thing. Okay, so make sure we're balanced and you go safely up. Go ahead. Nice soft landing. Be quiet on your feet. Find your balance before you lean over.
Some of them are very...
Find your balance.
You're not going to be able to do this if you don't get widths. So they have to get the right width of their feet.
Going. Land shoulder width apart.
Okay, you need to be a little wider with your feet now. So you have to get your hips inside your hip. Okay? They have to be able to get their hips inside their knee or else they're in trouble. You can't get in a defensive stance if you can't get your hips inside your knees. With the girls, we really watch out for a lot of the knees
we're going to go 3
going in.
Skater jumps. 1,
Not as much on the guys, but
3
there is
land.
some.
Okay. Then you're going to stretch toes to the sky. Okay, make sure we land solid. So good range of motion through our ankles, okay, our knee and our hip. Go ahead. Big range of motion. Bend your knee, bend your ankle, bend your hip. There you go. Find your balance. Good. Oh, flexibility.
You cannot let them do this on autopilot. In any learning, you have to be mentally engaged and aware of something that you're doing. If you let them just do autopilot, they don't improve. This is their first day doing it. This should not look the same on day 10 as it did on day 1.
So we're going to face that wall.
If they go on autopilot, they'll never improve. They just, every day they go, yeah, we're doing our movement prep.
1, 1. So we're going to leave from 2, land on 1, and then put 1 down. So leave from 2, land on 1. Okay, be nice and balanced, good range of motion through our knee and hip. Go ahead. Land on 1, then put your follow leg down.
You can see balance is a big issue. The ability to get my elbows over my knees and play in balance with a hip flex. That's it. You got to push your hips back.
Really find your balance, right? Get a strong base foot. Yeah, we're going to do the same thing on the way back.
I never like to talk about bending their knees. It's more their hips. They got to learn to push the hips back. If you talk about knees, they do this.
It's the hardest work that you've had.
So we got to learn to push the hips back so my elbows stay over. These 2 fellas here really have to work on that. They're standing too upright.
So we're going to go high knees all the way to the end. Let's make sure we're using our arms, right? So use our arms, opposite arm to leg. Okay, hands are cheek to cheek. So face cheek to butt cheek. Go ahead, high knees, go ahead. There you go. Eyes forward, keep your eyes up. Okay, same thing with butt kicks. Let's make sure we keep our posture nice and tall.
Pull tightening through here, don't round forward. Okay? Our kids sit all day like you are, so everything becomes this.
We're going to face that wall, and
so we've got to really work on
so we're going to go opposite. My
pulling
feet
those shoulders
cross,
back.
My arms don't cross.
And I'd suggest that you're sitting there.
So go ahead.
This.
Opposite arm to leg. Opposite arm to leg. Feet don't cross.
Work to open that up. Very, very important, because you can't shoot. So I pull those hips back. Oh yeah, some dancing. Now we're dancing. Yeah.
Same thing on the way back. Make sure we don't cross our legs, right? Keep them up. Drive your knee up. Opposite arm to leg.
Don't think about it. Don't think about it. There you go. It'll look ugly. That's good. They're making mistakes. Let them make mistakes. Don't fill their minds up with too many details.
Defensive slides with horizontal arm swings. Big range of motion through our legs. Okay, keep your hips at the same level. Keep your hips at the same level. Horizontal arm swings. Go ahead.
Get your arms up, parallel with the floor. Get your arms up, parallel with the floor. Your arms are pointing down. Get them parallel with the floor. Parallel with the floor.
Drop your hips.
Up there.
Drop your hips. There you go. Sit. There you go. Let's do it a little bit faster on the way back, but vertical arm swings now.
One of the most important concepts I learned from the worlds is the ability to extend. You have to be able to extend to pass and to shoot and to extend on defense. We allow our athletes to play with their arms in here too much.
So we're going to do a skater stop.
You have to get comfortable extending.
We put our foot, okay, parallel to that sideline. Okay, so I'm going to stop, push off, push off, push off. Okay, so I'm going to go run 3 up, skater stop back, 2 back, 3 up, 1 back. So 3, 2, 3, 1. Okay.
Now start to increase the heart rate.
Ready?
You're now raising that heart rate up where it's going to be close to the game speed.
Push off and explode. Push off and explode. 3, 2, 3, 1. And then sprint it out. Good. And jog it out. Jog it out. So all you're doing is 3, 2, 3, 1. We'll do that one again. Let's make sure that we really, absorb, our change of direction, bend through our knees, and we change direction. Let's stay facing that wall on your turn, okay? 3, 2, 3, 1. Go.
Watch their tempo and notice there really isn't a change of pace. This is something we will have to improve on them. They don't understand how to change pace. And most of the drills they'll do in your practice,
okay, 3, we're going to do,
the game is not played that way.
We're going to use the sideline.
And if you allow them to
3
practice
quick
like that,
jumps, 1,
you're
2,
not helping
3,
them. You have
and then
to find ways to get them to change their
3
pace.
sprinting strides
To
and then
understand an
decelerate.
explosion, stop, an explosion,
so
stop.
1, 2, 3, and explode. Okay? Ready? Go.
Now slow. Change of pace, guys. Show a change of pace.
Start with the opposite foot now. So you're pushing off the other one. Go. Okay, so same idea, but you're going to face the curtain. Okay, on the clapper,
A lot of
go.
roundedness.
Okay, on the clapper, go. We're going to turn, drop our bum, drop our hips, and explode 3 sprinting strides and then decelerate. Okay, ready? Go.
Use the arms.
Okay, so on the clap, we're just turning and exploding. Just turn and explode. Let's make sure we're using our arms. Okay?
Pull this in here.
Go.
Pump your arms, pump your arms.
Good. Good. Okay, last one. Okay, we're going to stay facing the curtain. Okay, we're going to just backpedal, but it's going to be short, choppy steps. Okay, make sure we're using our arms. Okay, our hips are dropped, our eyes are up. Go. Lots of touches, lots of touches, lots of touches. There
Reach.
you go.
You're good, you're good, you're good, you're good, you're good.
Oh,
Watch that
no.
line over there. Now, they raise that lines in this gym.
Okay, let's
raise lines.
Okay, now we're going to extend it out. So we're going to really extend our legs back.
Reach.
Okay?
Nose over
And
toes. Nose over toes. Reach, reach, reach.
Good.
Okay, guys, spread yourselves out. Facing me. Facing me in that court. Quick. Hustle, hustle, hustle. Let's go. We're getting warm. Okay, we're going to do a little dancing. This is a phase A drill. We use A drills that work on form and then the speed of the form. Guys, spread yourselves out. Spread yourselves out.
Like scatter. You can go all the way up to
Get
half
up here. Okay, right in the back, get up front.
Move
One
up,
up here.
move up, move up.
Let's go, up
Guys,
front.
move up.
Anybody's in the back row, come
Move
right
up.
up front.
Move up.
Anybody in the back row, come up
Move up.
front. Get up here. Hurry up, hurry up.
Give yourself some
Hurry up.
space.
Whoa, hold,
Guys,
time out.
spread
Get in
out.
here. Hurry up, guys, get in here. Let's
You're
go,
gonna-
come on. Okay, we got to change some definitions here because I have a term called hurry up, but your definition of hurry up seems to be different than mine. So we got to get this cleared up right now. What's your definition of hurrying up? If I say hurry up, what does hurry up mean to you? As fast as you can?
Faster.
Well, you can only go as fast as you can go. I don't know if you can go faster than what you can. Do you want to go as full sprint when I call it in here?
Yeah.
No, because it's unsafe. Okay, so, but somewhere between slowly walking in and a full sprint, you better get here a lot quicker. So I'm going to say go. You get back out into space as quick as you can and get ready. Go, quick. Like, take the time and practice to teach them your definitions and your glossary. They have to know that. Are we in good space? No, too close to the sidelines, guys. Everybody needs to be within inside the volleyball court. You can't be outside the width of the volleyball court. Okay, so we're going to be in a good athletic stance. Feet wider than shoulder, hips are back. Arms or elbows over knees, and we're ready to move. First one we're going to do is just push right, go left. Push right, go left. Ready? Push right, go left. Ready? Push right, go left. Ready? Push left, go right. Oh, it's not memorization, it's concentration. Do not allow them to memorize. They have to concentrate. Push left, go right. Push right, go left. Push left, go right. Push left, go right. Push right, go left. And stop. I'm not too worried about form just yet, but we would start to work. First of all, guys, it's not a deer. You're not going. It's quick. Slide across the floor. Ready? Here we go. Ready? Good stance. Push left, go right.
Here we go. Short, quick movement.
Push right, go left.
There you go.
Push left, go right.
Good.
Push right, go left. Push left, go right. Stop. What are you moving for? I said stop. Why did you move? I'm playing with you now. I'm adding some concentration. That's the mental part. Ready? Good stance. Is this spacing? Where's our spacing? We lost our spacing. Come on, come on. Relax. Okay. I'm trying to load and see what happens when you get stressed is things raise to your upper body. You gotta learn to center and put things in your lower body. Okay? Next one. We'll go slow. Step right. Everybody do that. Step right. Drop. And one more front pivot pop. Step right, drop, and pop. Try it on your own. Step right, drop, and pop. Step left, drop, and pop.
It's like a spin move. Spin move. Yeah, there you go. So a spin move. So always roll backwards. There you go.
Okay, you ready? Face this way.
Shoulder width.
Here we go.
Yeah, so don't get too.
Face this way.
Okay. Yeah, there you go.
Spacing. Where's my spacing? Good stances. Elbows over knees. Hands are ready. I'm ready to react. Step right, drop and pop. Step left, drop and pop. Step right, go left.
Oh.
What's that one? Have we even done that one? Okay. So I'm just challenging you. Last one. There's all kinds of these, but this is how I just get some footwork in. We're in a good stance. It's crossover, but when I cross over, there's a twist. It's crossover right, jump shot. Crossover left, jump shot. Try it on your own. Try it on your own. Crossover right, jump shot. Crossover left, jump shot. You ready? Good stance. Face this way. Good stance. Elbows over knees, hips back. Crossover right, jump shot. Okay, now we got some problems. Put your hands up like this. The one that forms the L, that's your left. The one that doesn't form an L, that's your right. You ever got that? That's left, so crossover my left. Crossover, oh, that doesn't have an L. This must be crossover right. Ready? Here we go, stance. Crossover right. Shot. Ready, crossover left. Shot. Push right, go left. Step right, drop and pop. Okay. So, just a way to start to build some of the footwork that we need. Because when I get into some of the other drills, we're not going to do as much of that. Okay? Now they should have their heart rates up. We have 4 factors that we study when we study the game. This comes from a guy named Dean Oliver, and he wrote a book back in the early 1990s called Basketball on Paper. He took a lot of his stuff from some of the stuff that Dean Smith did around points per possession. Because really that's one of the most important concepts is how many points do you score per possession? And he's done a lot of the analytics around it, so all this stuff on analytics, he was one of the first people. But there's 4 key factors. First one is how you score the ball. That's your shooting percentages. Second most important one is how you control the ball. Your assists and turnovers. The third key factor is your rebounding. How good do you offensively and defensively rebound? And the fourth key factor is your fouls. How do you draw fouls and how do your free throw rates? Okay? We're going to look at rebounding because I think it's one of the ones that we've done a lot of work on. I think it can help you at any level. So the first thing I need is I need a red player right down on the right-hand block, please. Defense, defense, right-hand block. I need a white post player opposite, please. I need a red player, defense on the top, white player, offense on top, and you get a ball, too. I need a red player on the wing, and I need a white player, white, red's defense, on the wing and defense on the wing. We might as well do this with 5. Give me a white player on offense in the corner, and a red defender. And give me another red-white. We'll put you on this wing over here. You guys can just watch, but you guys better be paying attention. Because we're teaching here means we're still teaching there. You understand? Because I may ask you guys the question. Probably I will ask you the question. Now, when a shot is taken, so let's say you were down in helping, and you've made a little penetration, you froze him, and there's our pass. And we're going to take this shot. We've all heard about a rebounding triangle, but what we've really worked on is researching where does the ball go. And the most common place on a shot from right here, we call it the hot spot. And we want our players to know exactly where the hot spot is for every shot that it's taken. Here's my question, guys. Shots taken from here, where will over, on the statistics and all this, there's a website I could send you in the NBA where you run your mouse over a place on the floor, it shows you where the rebounds go from the NBA. Okay? Now the only difference is sometimes with younger players, they're not as strong, but it's pretty good. It's still pretty good. So, if he shoots from here, you go stand where you think the most likely place for the rebound to go. Go stand where you think the rebound's going to be. If he shot from there, if he missed, where's the most likely place it's going to go? Who agrees with that? One guy, go stand with him. You agree with him. Anybody want to build on that, or anybody want to challenge that? Okay, go stand where you think it's going to be. Anybody agree with that? Go stand there. If you agree with him, go stand there. Okay, anybody want to challenge? This must mean you guys are challenged. Where do you think your rebound's going to go? Go stand where you think it's going to be. Anybody agree with that? Okay, so we got some guys who haven't voted yet. Go stand where you think it's going to, where do you think it would be? Way out there, okay? Who agrees with that? Okay, guys, you got to vote. Where do you think it's going to be? No, you stay here. Now, they're not too bad. Coaches, where do you think it's going to go? The research tells us this is the hot spot. Right here. Now, our team research may tell us, though, he has a tendency to miss short, and it might go there. It may also tell us he's a really side-to-side shooter, and we have no idea where it's going to go. Okay? But we would call this spot over here the hot spot. We want that spot filled first. Right? That's the hot spot. Get in there. Good. We call the front rim miss the short spot. Get right in here. That's the second spot. This is called the cleanup. This is where a lot of tipped rebounds go. And in girls basketball, there's a higher percentage of tipped rebounds than in men's basketball because that ability to track outside the body and really rip a rebound. That cleanup is a huge place. And we practice tipping rebounds. So we get really boxed out, we actually try to tip it to that spot. Because it's amazing how times they don't box you out there. Okay, so those are the 3 spots. What's that one called, guys? Good. Okay, give me my 5 guys again. Subs out there. Quickly, 5 guys. Back to your spots. Now, we'll look at it from boxing out first. USA men. USA women. There's no secret. Go on that side. You two go down low. Derrick Rose, I don't care who this guard is. Penetrate into the double gap here, get to the rim, help. Bury yourself in that hot spot right there. This was a guy named Anthony Davis. Everybody know who he is? And another guy, what's the guy for Denver? I can never pronounce his name. Freed. They just stand right there. Now, are you going to be able to rotate your guy from there inside here to get that rebound? No, you can't. And he is there early. He's there even before the shot. He's already got that spot. And are you going to help off with this guy? So when you play the U.S., we are actually starting to box that out even before the shot goes up, because we just can't allow that rebound. That rebound is the most dangerous thing. So you cannot get beat on top penetration. You just can't get beat there. You cannot let him beat you up there. You understand? And we're not helping off that. Okay, because all he's got to do is get it up there and it's a rebound. Okay, so that's the first one, is this box in this hot spot. Sometimes you can't be a helper. This whole idea of a low eye, sometimes you can't help with them if they've got a big who's going to just kill you in those boards. You've got to do your job early. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, let's say the shot's coming from over there. So you're going to penetrate, little help here, pass goes, and you're going to be the shooter. Now, we now have a couple other types of rebounds. So you've got to go and meet him early. Okay? You have to get in his drive line. So what we want to do is play the body first. There's two things you're concentrating on. Are you playing the position, and then you've got to compete the position. Sometimes you've got to compete to get the position. That's what he's doing right now. He's competing to get the position. You already have good position. Now you've got to compete it a little bit. So you've got to get in his drive line, and as he comes into him, now, whichever way he goes, you're going to just ride him out and hold that position. Okay? Same thing. If he crashes, get in his drive line and ride him out. You've got to contest the shooter and then box the shooter. Does that make sense? Same thing with you. Most teams, what are these two guys going to do? Defensively, what would you guys have to do? Go back as, what are they called? Safeties. So we might just do a touch and go. And if he starts to go that way, your job is now to get in the cleanup, and you've got to clean up the cleanup spots. Don't let your little guards not get involved in defensive rebounding. They've got to be responsible for cleaning the things up. So sometimes a touch and go. You may see your guy running back, touch and go. But it's not touch and stand out there. You got to touch and go. Okay, so let's just take a look at this. You're going to just do a little penetration. You're going to let him shoot, and we're going to play off this. So be in your good defensive positioning. A little penetration. Here we go. Penetrate. Kick. There's our shot. Shoot it. Shoot it. Here's our box up. Okay, let's rewind. Do it again. Now over here. Weak side corner. What was your first step? You gave him space. Good defense at the highest levels, it's like a balloon. It inflates into any open space. It is constantly pushing up to take away any open space. It sags on the help side, but on ball side, get into any space that the offense gives you, get up into it. Okay? So you've got to get into that space. Let's do it again. Ready? Here we go. Okay. So coaches, you understand that's that concept? Now let's look at some of the details. Here's how I would teach this. Just partner up, guys, around the three-point line. Partner up around the three-point line. You guys come in here too. Partner up around the three-point line. Quick, quick, quick. Everybody just around the three-point line. Offense outside is white, red inside the three-point line. Quickly. Nice, safe space. Hurry up. Partner, right to the corner. Now we're all going to work on boxing the shooter. So you're all going to pretend the guy that's shooting the ball, Guy on the outside, pretend you have a ball. Get in a good shot, ready position, like you're shooting. Guy outside the 3, be ready to shoot.
Shooting.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Where's Dan? Dan, is this how your guys shoot? Guys, you tell me you shoot like this? You got no legs in your shot? No wonder you're missing all your shots. Get your legs ready. Now the defense, you're contesting the shot. Same hand, no cross contesting. What does that mean? That's cross. You're cross contesting. Same, you got to be square to him, contesting the same. Cross contesting, he's going to put his leg out, you're going to foul him. He goes and shoots 3 foul shots. Okay? So, defense, your hat has to be under his hat. Get your hat under his hat. Be lower than him. Okay, offensive guy, when I say shoot, you're going to shoot. We are jumping to contest.
Yeah, there you go.
You do not contest somebody, jump and shoot. That's right, that's contesting. Jump and put your hand out here. Jump and shoot. That's not, no, keep your hand down here. Just contest right there. Shoot. That's not a contested shot. It's not. If he jumps, you got to jump. You got to contest. And because the field goal percentage is off the chart difference if we contest. Okay, so we're just going to do that part. Ready? Shot. Contest. Good. Ready? Shot. Contest. Ready? Shot. Contest. Good. Okay, now, as I land, I've contested, shoot, contest, follow through with your friendly forearm and find his solar plexus and get into the space with your foot. Get to that position and get wide. I call this bulldozer position. Get the bulldozer. Walk forward. Right through me. No, go right through me. Straight ahead. Straight ahead. Walk. Are you pushing as hard as you can? Come on, push. 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 No, he's not strong. You go. Okay, so shot, go slow. I'm an old man. Shoot, contest, and bullet. Push, push, push. How old are you? 14. I'm 54. You should be just, why can't he push me, guys? Here's a concept, coaches. Get parallel to pressure. No. If I play parallel to pressure, push me now. There's nothing I can do. You must get perpendicular to pressure. Push me now. Okay? Get perpendicular to pressure. Same thing if he had a ball on offense and I'm playing defense, you've got to get perpendicular to protect the ball. Same as you. Get perpendicular to pressure. Okay? So, let's go slow. Shot, contest. Friendly form, get perpendicular. That's cross. Don't you cross contest. That hand. Get perpendicular to pressure. Now, guy on offense, try to push him a little bit. Ready? Shot. Contest, push. Straight ahead. Don't go sideways. Go straight. Okay, good. We're learning how. Notice that their forearm is not out here. You got to get the arm in. That's a lever that they can use. They can't push your body. They can't. But if you just put your forearm out on me, man, just put your elbow like this, go this way. If you put this arm out, put your arm in there. Let's do it again. Just put your elbow there. Put your shoulder into me there. See, I can't, and that's an obvious foul. Okay, now, the last part, contest, shot, bulldozer. Now, if he comes this way, get your hip across and box him. Good. Go back again. If he attacks your back, get the bulldozer, back pivot into him. So whichever way he goes, just pivot. Okay? Now, this is not safe with this many people right here. I'm just going to demo with these two groups right here. Ready? We'll go one at a time. Shot, contest, bulldozer, now challenge. Okay, what did he do, coaches? How did he lose his balance? How did you lose your balance? Guys, how do you lose his balance? Go again. Ready? Shot, contest, bulldozer. Okay, get your hip across, get your hip across. You got to get your hip, but see what he did? He went like this. It's learning to keep the hips, right? Move with the hips. Let's have this pair go. Ready? Shot. Get the hips across. There you go. That's good. Oh, that's good boxing. Okay, got the hips across. Did you see what he did? Are you sure? Are you paying attention? Here we go. Show me now. Show me. Here we go. Shot. Good test. Get your hips crossed. Good. Now, the only thing is, we have to get the eyes up, right? So you can see where the ball is. So that's boxing out a shooter. Now, you're a help defender. Come on in here. Shot went up from over there. You got to go in a straight line to meet him. As he comes in, take him on with both forearms, straight on, just like this. So he's running in, so I'm coming, keep running in. I just take him on here. Now, whichever way he goes, I just ride him out. If he tries to run over me, take the charge. So here goes shot, get into him. No, his shot was over there. So he's going to start, ready, shot, get in his drive line. Now, whichever way he goes, good. So we're exploding out into the space. If I run out like this, shot, what are you going to do? Just push the, he's by me. Or if I run out like this, shot, well, he's by me. This is offensive lineman, defensive lineman football stuff. That's all it is. It's defensive pass, offensive pass rush stuff. Okay, so that's boxing out a crasher. The last one is boxing out the big. Let's say you're right in here. This is, and you've got, already you're on offense. He's in the hot spot. And I'm trying to box him out. I've got to use my hips. I've got to try to get the biggest piece of the pie. So if I see the shot from there, I want that pie there. I don't want to end up with this piece of pie. So what I've got to try to do is with my hips, do this. Okay? Come on here. You're on offense. You're already in the hot spot. You've got to get him over there with the hips. So the shot goes up. You've got to get him out of there. Good, but keep your eyes up. You can't really drive him because that's obvious, because there's a ref always standing right there. But just working with your hips to push him out. Does that make sense? Last little thing, because I think we're running out of time, is offensively, never go parallel to a defensive box out. Perpendicular, and if he's got the position, I'm trying to tip the ball. Okay? Second thing is, if he's got perfect hot spot box out, which is probably here, a defender wants to keep the hot spot in front of him. If he's got this position, he's got me good, get out of the hot spot to allow someone else to fill it. So what I'm going to try to do is attack the cleanup to allow one of my teammates, and I learned that from that gentleman right there, called a duck and a dive, right? He was doing that back in the 80s, and it killed you. But it was the same idea. Get out of the hot spot to let someone else fill the hot spot. Okay, so it's just some of the concepts. So didn't show you a lot of drills, but it's just I want you to be thinking about how you teach rebounding. And do you have a plan? I use this with my little 12-year-old girls. We just say, hot spot, and we track it. Every time there's a shot, did someone get in the hot spot? That's how we start. Get to the hot spot. And it's amazing, even with little girls, how many more boards we're picking up because we just get to that hot spot. Okay? Michele, any final? Didn't even know more time for questions. I've been around all weekend, so they can ask lots of questions. Yep. Thank you, guys.